Okay, so now my microphone should be heard and all. Yeah. Okay, let's just continue without starting. Can I speak? Hello? Yeah, it seems like I can speak and all. So, the event's gonna be starting soon. I actually don't know if I've got any viewers yet. I don't even have a second monitor. Alright. Hello. Okay, Sam Boo Boo's here. Can you hear me? Okay, yeah, nice. So, we're gonna be starting in 8 minutes. Your voice is smaller than the Discord music. Oh, okay. Is this better? Is this better? I set my microphone's volume to max. Yeah. I mean, I think it's a little too loud, but I'll just lower desktop volume here. The music isn't gonna be heard anyway. Suppressed. Okay. Wait, I have to start the stage. Okay, I'll start it. Sure. Bam. It is starting. Alright. Now, I'm gonna be screen sharing to Discord here and on YouTube at the same time, so the quality, that'll be insane. Okay, there's already someone. Welcome, I'm also streaming on YouTube. Yeah, I do need to I have a second TV. Actually, I could go grab that, but my parents won't be very happy. Yeah, 2 screencasts. You know what? I've got 6 minutes. So, let's just do this. I'll mute my microphone and... I mean, I have a pretty small TV, so... I can just use it as a monitor. But now that I think about it, I can just use my phone. I mean, yeah. Okay, nobody is here yet. Oh, actually, 3 people watching the stream though? Okay, I don't think I need to watch this here. Does OBS display the chat anywhere? No? Okay, that's unfortunate. Yeah. Oh, I've got many things ready. I have a script. I've not really a script, but it's a huge plan. I don't think I'm gonna show it here. Maybe at the end. But it's just some notes. Yeah. Did this thing ping? I'll just ping everyone. Like, why not? I don't know if KVC allows this, but I'll ask KVC. Okay. Hold on, I'll start up my VM right now. Actually, I wonder, how's my RAM usage going? Oh, this is scary. Oh, this is scary. That's... yeah, it's just scary. I want this to be full screen. Actually, what I can do is... no, it's cooked. I can actually just take this window, put it here like that, and my VM is crashing? Oh no, it's fine. It's alive. I do have them installed. Yep, should be. Okay, let's do no title bar and frame. And just make this big. Alright. KVC, can I do it? I am about to mention over 200 people. Am I about to? Yeah, I got permission. No? Okay, I can.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing very good. You're gonna have to ping people. I cannot.
Okay, no issues. I will do that. See, weekly is good if we are doing something good. I don't mind pinging everyone.
Yeah.
We are starting with, I think the link is in my clipboard already. 4747. Okay. Yeah, go ahead. You can start. I think it's, you have 2 minutes. So, yeah.
Yeah, I actually already clicked on start, so the event is already running.
Okay.
Oh man, I really need a second.
So in the beginning, I will not ask anything. I'm also working on a freelance project right now. So you can demonstrate. I'm watching you.
Yep.
In case if you need my, you can ask me. I'm here. You can ping me or stuff. You can say. Also, in the end, I will ask you a few questions. So it's like a small interview questions. I think I asked Shadow, and I
Okay.
also asked Icarus as well. I
Yeah,
think in the
amazing.
first one.
I already see the viewers going up. Oh, my
Mm-hmm.
stream is glitching? Okay. Unfortunate. I mean, I'm screen
I,
sharing to two platforms at once.
yeah, now it's glitchy.
Uh, I think I can
The
change
stream
the
you are
audio.
viewing currently has reduced video or audio quality. This may be due to network conditions. Okay.
Okay, I'll change the bitrate on the stream to 4 megabytes per second. Before it was limited to 3. Okay, yeah. The stream should have a higher quality now, but at the expense of the stream here on Discord being lower. I'm gonna set this to prefer clarity. I don't care if it's running at 15 FPS. It should be clear.
Okay, then I will go down the stage. I'm leaving everything to you. Over to
Yeah,
you.
I think I'm gonna wait a little more because we don't have much audience here yet. Oh, I mean, not too many people are online. I guess it doesn't really matter because we have a VOD here. So, like, this is
Yes,
being
you're
recorded.
recording. Yes.
Or is it? Hold up, it should be.
Next time, Shifter, how about next time? Because I was thinking Discord is good, but Discord is limited to 200 people that we know that are there. Uh, how about a YouTube live collaboration or something?
What?
That I think a collaboration or you can say on YouTube. So so that
Okay.
you can be live on YouTube and we can go there, we can ask questions, something like that. If you prefer that, then it's good. Otherwise, we can continue on Discord as well. Because I
Uh,
think YouTube will give uh, more exposure, if you ask me.
I mean, yeah, I get.
Next is
I guess
Mhm.
there's Doctor Nugget in the audience here. Actually, where's everyone
Yes,
though? Is the stream? Does the stream have like 10 people now? And I don't know. No, it's just
I
Mabubu.
think so.
Oh well,
Yeah,
whatever. Let's go.
yeah. Let's respect Doctor Nugget. He's present, so it's good. Someone is there.
Okay, yeah,
How are
I
you doing,
just.
Doctor?
All right. Anyways, so I have this thing on my phone. I'll close up everything. So, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Shivtanium event here on Batchman, which I also decided to stream on YouTube. I hope everything is going well. I hope everyone can see the stream. Uh, so
Okay, you are also on YouTube right now.
what?
You are also on YouTube right now.
Yeah, Sambubo is
Is it
watching.
okay? Perfect.
So
Perfect then. Go ahead, Ashish. Perfect.
in this stream, I really want to talk about the recent changes I've made, as well as responding to questions, which there aren't many viewers right now, so that's not going to be our priority. And if we just look at this change log, it's massive. I'm not going to talk about everything that's right here, except I'm actually going to change some config right here. I haven't touched it in way too long. Because today I'm also going to be releasing a new version of Shivtanium, Beta 1.4.0, with changes I've been working on the past month. And we'll be also talking about future plans, or we'll be talking about making programs in Shivtanium, resource packs, and using some developer utilities in the process. So, first I wanted to talk about system design. The recent changes I've been making with UX tests and the new control panel updates. So, right as we start this, we already see this new notification system. This one just tells us that there's an update available, which isn't fully implemented yet. As we can see, it's trying to downgrade me to beta 1.3.2. So I'm gonna click later, or I can shut this down, check out the animation, and click on more information, which does this nice little animation. As we can see, this doesn't really have much more information. So that's it. And now this login screen doesn't seem much different from previous versions until I start typing and I press tab. Then we see the use of the new context menu. Excuse the name here, but yeah, we can scroll through this, except this is not a big list. So yeah, we can use tab and then see all the available users starting with what we type, or we can just press tab and see all users that are registered here. Upon logging in, we're at the desktop, and so the first thing that we'll probably notice is this date bar being glitched, having a glitched color. You'll see why that is in a second, but first I'll check our audience. Oh, requests. Yeah, I'm not gonna really be looking here. Oh, you want to speak? Okay. You should increase the font size. Okay. Yeah, sure. That's a good idea. I'll shut it down here right now. I can actually do that, except I have to lower the overall resolution. So if I go to this config here, we can
Yeah, sorry
change.
to again disturb you.
Yeah?
Can I hear you? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Yes. I was saying, can you please share your YouTube live link in general chat so I can share? There is a one group about batch language in Telegram. There are 500 people there.
Okay.
So I would like to share that link there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
shared it
YouTube
here.
live.
I shared it here.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't see that. No issues.
Alright.
Go. Carry.
So I lowered the resolution right here to 100 by 25. I should be able to, yeah, make this font twice as big now. Alright. I actually quite don't like this being very enlarged. I mean, wait, I could set the font size to something like 24, but then it's blurry, and you know what? I think I'll live through it with it being blurry. Oh god, what am I doing here? Okay, we got the right mode. Now let's do font size 24. Yeah, this actually fits quite well. Alright. So we're back. I Actually, my phone just died. I'm gonna have to restart it to see what I was gonna talk about. Yeah, right. So, the first thing I wanted to show off is this task working on. So, right off, if I open up settings, check the fancy animations, we can see that we finally have a control panel. We have this window open up here. It even gets the Windows title. And the best part is, so this is being managed by System Desktop, the default desktop application. And that application doesn't have access to the Windows properties, so it doesn't need, which makes it very fast because it's actually just telling DWM to display the title of this window here, which is a pretty genius optimization. I'll show the message logs. I'll show the DWM commands being used to achieve this in a second. Now, next thing I want to talk about is user interfaces and touch-friendly scrolling. If we go to the appearance tab here, we have Virtual Rain Cloud as our selected theme. Now, at first glance, it may seem like these are all the themes that we can select, but we can actually scroll down by dragging up, like on a phone screen, like on a touch screen, which might seem weird since we're using a mouse pointer, but I've already talked about, or actually I don't think I did, using the scroll wheel of a mouse in Batch is pretty difficult. So getinput64.dll, which I use for input here, allows scrolling, but the way it does scrolling is pretty janky because there's this internal value called scroll, and if I move my scroll wheel up, that variable gets changed to 1. Same goes for scrolling down to -1. But if I scroll more, it doesn't change the value any further. So basically every frame I have to check if the scroll value has been changed, and if it has been, then change the scrolling position by that value, and then change the scroll variable back to 0. That's how it works, which is unfortunate. It doesn't do anything with delta time, which means if Shivtanium is lagging, the scroll wheel would just scroll slower. And that's why I just decided to not use it, because then I would have to also, every frame when the user is scrolling, I'd have to send out variable packets. That's another thing I'll talk about. It basically makes Shivtanium processes react to inputs. So the easiest solution is to just use a mouse pointer, which also makes it touch friendly. So if anyone has a touchscreen laptop, then the scrolling is actually gonna feel very good. So I'm gonna switch back to the Plex theme, my favorite one. Now we can also check out this taskbar, which actually works here. It currently doesn't react to clicks. I haven't figured that out yet. No need to overlap this. So and how does this work? We have this interface, which is already even at the login screen. it uses the same interface. So this is the list selection UX module in Shivtanium, which it can be, it's not a bxf library actually, it's just a batch file that can be called with parameters. But of course the entire list isn't completely passed through the parameters, because we all know how batch parameters are insecure. You want me to try the null theme? Yeah, sure. I'll try the null theme. That's the null theme, guys. Okay. Now I'll shut this down. And I have a UX test ready to show off. This is it. So if I start up Shivtanium, I have this boot menu here, and I can actually open up this UX test. Which, okay, it doesn't seem to work right now. Oh, it's actually because of this update thing that broke it. So I'll fix it simply by disconnecting my internet in VirtualBox. Network not attached. That should disconnect me from internet. That should disconnect this virtual machine from the internet. Yep. And now we have this selection menu. So list selection UX is invoked with cmd/c because it's not possible to exit HB out of infinite loops, and it actually doesn't use any parameters. I got confused there, because the way it works is we predefine these variables, which is a lot better because it removes the limit of 8,192 characters for all the parameters, and we can also just have really large lists. And the first variable LSUX needs is item count. This is just the amount of items or options we have in the context menu. And then we also have to define LSUX.list, which is the list that actually contains the options. So, hold up, guys. Alright, sorry for the pause. My mother came in, gave me some sandwich. So yeah, the LSUX.list variable just contains the name of the list to use. So we don't actually have to define this list as LSUX and end up with duplicates in the memory, or having to copy a list to another, which is just a laggy process. Here it just uses the name of the list and then opening square brackets, number, and a closing square bracket. And optionally we can also add a no to this variable name and set this to anything as long as it's defined, which will make it selected. Hold up. Alright, I'm back. Just got some lemonade. Alright, yeah. So yeah, these lists are pretty self-explanatory. And okay, yeah, actually the last thing is how do we actually know which variable got selected? That's quite simple. It just through error level. So if error level is -1, then it means the system is shutting down or the process was killed. Therefore, it should exit. But otherwise, if error level is 0, then it means the user clicked off somewhere else and nothing was selected. But then if error level is greater than 1, then it means an option has been selected. And then the error level is just the position in the list that was selected. It's pretty simple as that. Oh, yeah, also, there's, okay, I'm gonna have to stop stuttering real quick. And, yeah, the position of the selection menu can be defined here. This is just a standard Shivtanium window position definition. Here I've set it to the top left of the screen. I could actually set it to actually no, I was thinking about setting it to the center of the screen, but that's kind of impossible unless I set a specific list width, because the width and height is defined after the position. Anyways, so that's about how it goes for UX. For list selection UX. Actually, let me recompile real quick. Yeah, that's one of the hassles when it comes to BXF, because when you make changes to a BXF file, then you need to recompile it so that you have a batch full of the changes. So here this just deletes all compiled batch files so that Shivtanium automatically recompiles it. Which, by the way, is pretty CPU heavy. We can see for ourselves here. Oh my god, unfortunately I have a cat. Okay, so it seems like the task manager is slacking, didn't expect for that to happen. Yeah, I'll check on my cat for a second. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, it appears that the cat is now on my lap, and she's probably gonna stay there, aren't you? Oh, oh, you're big. Oh my god. Please don't eat me.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, welcome back.
Yes, you should also read the chat on Discord because I was in the event and I tried making some comments on your YouTube stream. For some reason, I think my browser is not working.
Oh,
It did not show me the chat option there. So I'm writing all things. And Dr. Nugget also asked you one question in the Discord chat.
okay, yeah. Uh, yeah.
So in the
Fact.
stage chat, yes, exactly.
Is DWM the name of the window manager? Yes, it is. Key
Okay.
text file.
So I will also I will not ask questions right now, but something I'm writing down right now. And I have also given you one suggestion. If you are going away, uh, just open a text file and write "I will be back" like this, or like the Terminator.
Okay, yeah. I think I also can switch the scene on the live stream to paused. Yeah, this silly cat says stream paused.
Yeah, sure, that would be nice. Okay, I will be quiet now.
Sure. So, continuing off, the next thing I wanted to talk about is creating programs. I mean, the next thing in my list is system updates, but we've already kind of checked that out. And they're not very finished. So how does creating programs go in Shivtanium? We have the start menu. I have these 3 programs installed here. Uh these aren't finished. I'm definitely not gonna show these off here. But what I am gonna do is set up a new program. And we'll go through the process of creating programs in Shivtanium right here. Except my mother is coming into my room, so I'll be back real quick. Right. So here we have the Shivtanium directory. It more like the root, the C folder. We can go into Shivtanium and programs, and this is where our programs are located, our installed programs. I think by default there's only new engine launcher. These are pretty unheard of. So let's make a new one. What should we make right here? Maybe, you know what? Let's do a... Oh, you have to go. No worries. You can check the VOD. So, we'll just make a simple... Okay, you'll be back soon. So, what I have planned is a random number guesser. We all know those. So, the program starts with a number that you have to guess. If you guess a number that's lower than it, it tells you just do higher. And if you guess the number higher than the goal, it tells you to guess lower. So let's call this random number guesser. I hope I'm spelling guesser right. Yeah, I am. Old me. So the first thing that we're gonna look at is registering the program into the start menu. For that we need a shivtanium.dat file, which we'll open up here. This is the shivtanium.dat file of a new engine launcher. We'll be using this as a template. So it's pretty straightforward. We just have this metadata, which pretty much stands for itself. So first we have the name, random number guesser, and for information we're going to say a program, no, a simple game where you have to guess a number that's randomly generated. Copyright, we're just gonna actually remove this. It's actually not required. It required entry. Then we have authors, just me, and path. This is pretty much required. It's the name of the main file that it's gonna attempt to launch. which we're gonna make a bxf file. So let's call this rng.bxf. And we'll go straight to editing. So we have a simple program here which doesn't contain anything at all. And the first thing we need to do to get going is import the standard library. So now we're actually going into bxf functions. So let's just do #import sys.bxf. This just automatically makes it a Shivtanium application. Damn it, my grammar. It's falling back. I'm probably gonna look back at this stream in like 5 years and cringe at my language. I'm talking to no one. So, first thing we're gonna probably do is create a window. So first we need our, yes?
No, you're not talking to no one. I'm listening. I'm here.
Yeah, I'm just joking.
Okay, I see.
So the first thing we're gonna do is define our window bounds. Dude, so starting with the x and y positions, we just do set/a, and in quotes, when, opening bracket, the ID of the window, which window IDs should start with !PID!! This is so that when you have the same program open up multiple times, there aren't any conflicts. Because otherwise that would just rewrite the old window. Or just destroy it straight up. So yeah. We start with !PID!! Then we put a dot. And next, pretty much whatever we want. So let's just do RNG. And a closing bracket to end.
Hi, Shivtanium. One more thing,
Yeah.
if you're listening to me,
Yes.
please increase the font size.
Okay, yeah. It should be good.
This is much better. Yes.
So
Perfect.
we're gonna do X for the X position, and let's say we want this window to be centered. How do we center stuff? So we have sys.modeWidth for the width of the display, the terminal, whatever you want to call it, and we subtract the window's width, which we haven't defined yet. So a cool thing we can do in batch is actually just put this in brackets and do when PID.RNG our window glass and W for width equals we'll make this 48 characters wide. So now this would put the window at the right edge of the screen. So we're gonna do divided by 2, and voila, we have it centered. And we're gonna do the same for the Y position and height. I actually have this in my clipboard. So we're gonna do the Y position to equal height minus height. Screen height minus window height, which is, let's do 12 characters and divided by 2. So yeah, this is it. We have defined our XY position and width and height in a single line. So now we're gonna tell our window manager to create this window. So we're gonna do echo Then we're gonna do this character. I absolutely do not know what it's called. If anyone wants it, it's on the Shivtanium wiki, which we'll also look at in a second. So this indicates that it's a DWM command. So if we actually echo anything, it's not going to display on the Shivtanium screen. It's going to go to the window manager. If it doesn't start with this character, it's disregarded. This is probably for the better, because echoing something on the screen, even if we could do it, it would be immediately overwritten by the window manager. So we're gonna do CW for create window, then we're gonna press tab for the next token, which will be the window ID. We've already said that it's gonna be pid.rng, then tab, and now we're gonna pass in the bounds. So when, and we're actually gonna use percentage values here. I know I said they're unsafe, but PID, but it's actually just PID. Okay, so PID is actually defined with set/a. Hello Samubo. If I recommend watching. I recommend just going back to the stream like 2 minutes before, so that you catch on. Maybe set the speed to 1.5, 1.25, because I was really yapping. Anyways, so here we're using delayed expansion, so we can actually put a percentage variable inside, which is very useful in this case. And we're actually gonna do X. Yes, so the second token always needs to be the X position. The next one is Y. Then we do width and height. So those are the first 5 tokens. The next token is gonna be the Windows title. So let's just do random number guesser. And let's see how big is that. 21. Actually, let's just make this 32 characters wide, because we're not gonna need that much space. So yeah, the sixth token is the Windows title. So then we press tab, which is actually optional, because the last token is the Windows theme. So if you want a window to have a specific theme, you can just put the theme name here, like iBurn. But we're just gonna make this use the default or the currently selected theme. So that's the window registered, but this is not all, because we want to move this window, and the Shivtanium kernel, as I call it, currently has no idea that this window exists. The window manager does, but the window manager just displays the windows. It doesn't handle dragging. So now we're gonna use the call function in the sys library. So sys.call, and this just sends a message to the kernel, and we're gonna say register window. That just tells the window that this window exists. Now, the first parameter that this function takes is the owner of the window, so the process ID. So we're just gonna do PID and press tab. Next, we're gonna say the Windows ID or Windows name, so pid.rng. And then the next thing that follows is just the bounds, so we can actually just Ctrl C and Ctrl V this. And that's it. Now the kernel knows that this window exists and that it should respond to user requests, like dragging it. But okay, so we created this window, but then the process just exits. So it immediately destroys the window. We don't want to do that. So we're gonna make an infinite loop. Just like this. Now, it's cool that we have this infinite loop, but if the kernel wants to end this process or shut down, then if we don't put anything in here, the process is just gonna hold the system from shutting down, which we don't really want. So we're gonna say, so we're gonna make it respond to system events. To do that, we use the pull events function in the sys library. So sys.pull events. And so this pulls events, but we still have to react to them. So we're gonna do sys on event, and then we can do stuff like click equals 1. So if the user just clicked on something, we can do something, but we're not gonna do that right now. We just want the process to just do things that a process should do, like respond to when it gets killed or respond to variable changes. So to do that, we're gonna do sys.handle std events, like handle standard events. So now we can actually just run Shivtanium. We have a valid process here, a valid program. We're gonna log in, and then there it is, random number guesser. It actually gets cut off because the start menu doesn't have enough space, which is a good thing, in my opinion. So we can open this, and yeah, it actually compiles the application, which opens it in Notepad as well. If we close this, here we have it. Here is our window that we created. We can see that the title barely fits here, but I mean, that's fine. So we can't close this window yet because we didn't tell it to handle clicks on this closing button. But if we log out, then we can see that the process just gets killed. We can open the task manager in Shivtanium with Ctrl-Alt-E. This is a useful key combination to use in Shivtanium. Ctrl-Alt-E. This brings up the task manager, and we can see that the process is not running. Now, this is cool and all, but this is supposed to be a random number guesser. So we're gonna make it 1. And okay, the first thing I actually want to do is make it respond to closing. And to do that, I'll take notes from something like the calculator. This is the calculator. Don't mind it. What we really want to do is get the user's theme. Now, why do we want to get the user's theme? You might be thinking. Well, each theme in Shivtanium can have different button offsets on the window controls. So we can see that the Plex theme has these nice looking control buttons, which are actually offset by 1 pixel. If we use something like the arrow theme, we can see that they're not offset. And we want them to react to that. I mean, we want programs to react to that. To do that, we'll simply first get the user's theme right here. The default theme is always Aero, and we're gonna get all user settings. So this should probably work. We're just gonna, yeah, wait, hold on. I'm not completely sure if this is gonna work because we have this sys.username variable, which I'm not sure if that's defined by default. I might have just found a bug, maybe not. Well, let's open a control panel which seems to handle it well. And what do you know? We actually do get parameters here. So what we're gonna do is we're simply gonna steal this parameter parser right here. And we're gonna put it all the way here to the top. So now, yeah, so when we start a program from the start menu, it will always give us two parameters, which is username of the current user and UPID. Now, what is UPID? So UPID is the process ID of the user, of the currently selected user. Why do we need this? Well, if we want to start sub-processes, and we want to be able to, for example, start a new process and then exit, then by default, exiting would also kill the sub-process that we started. And if we don't want that, we can just make the user launch the theme, if you know what I mean. That's what systemb user init handles. Whenever systemb user init is started, it creates a new working user profile, and this is started by systemb login, which also gives it parameters of the user. So all we really need to know is this thing just gets the parameters that the start menu gave us so that we can start sub-processes, or also get the current user's information, like the global theme. And now, actually, this is not gonna work because now we're actually gonna look at the DWMBXF library in Shivtanium. Now, this library doesn't have much, but it allows us to do some simple graphics pretty quickly, but we can also make it get theme control button UI offset, which is exactly what we want. So we're using this function here, and to use it we actually have to import dwm.bxf as well. So that will work now. And as we can see, this function takes two parameters, the theme and the return variable, which are defining as CBUI offset. And oh wow, almost like 15 minutes have already passed. Alright. So now we have the control button UI offset, but we also have to calculate it. So we're gonna do set/a, and we want to set up the close button X value. Close button X. And close button X is gonna be the window width -3 plus CBUI offset. So let's do that. Now you have the close buttons X position defined, and we don't really have to define the y position because we know that's gonna always gonna be 0, and we don't have to define bx or by because it's only a one line button, and bx is just the edge of the window, so if we click past that, it's going to unfocus the window, so it's not even going to give us the event. That's a load of yapping. So to say it simply, we're going to do sys.onEvent click equals 1. So this reacts to when we press our mouse button. And we're going to do... Now, okay, so when we do this, when we want to register clicks on a window, we need to get the mouse position relative to the window, so that when we move the window, button positions don't get messed up. So we're gonna define this with relative mouse x equals the Windows X position, mouse X position minus the Windows X position. That's it. And same for Y. So now we have the relative mouse positions. Now we're gonna check if the relative mouse position, the relative Y position is 0, which means we're clicking on the title bar. And then we're gonna check if relative mouse X position is greater or equal to close button X. Now, excuse the typos, I'm looking at 2 screens at once. Eagle eye moment. So, if all of these conditions are met, that means we're clicking on the close button. So, we want to exit the process. So we're just going to do sys.exit, which is going to exit the process for us. So now we're going to delete this compiled batch file so that it can be compiled again. That's just kind of what we do. Otherwise we can open up this log, and before it told us file already exists. So now we're just gonna launch Shivtanium. We're gonna open up our random number guesser, and there it is. It's still a blank window, right? But we can click on this X button and it closes. Bam. Now the process is reacting to user input. Alright. I'm gonna check if anyone's asking questions. Doesn't seem like it. Actually, what's going on here? Not much. Oh, hello, Terror. Great to see you here. If you want to see what we were talking about before, you can check the stream where you can go back. You can travel back in time. Anyways. So, we have this random number guesser, and we want to display some user interface. So we're gonna what are you gonna make it say? Let's think about it. I guess just guess the number, or does anyone have an idea? Doesn't seem like it. It is dead quiet here. I don't know how Icarus didn't didn't turn insane after a while.
Cannot, I cannot say anything. Hopefully, you can hear me now. Can you?
Um, I barely hear you. The voice
Okay. Is it
quality is
is it
pretty.
audible now?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, now I hear you.
Okay. Am I audible now? Is it clean, clear?
I can kind of hear you.
Kind of. Okay. How bad it is?
Yeah, okay, it seems to be getting better. That's probably because I'm screen sharing on two platforms at once.
I think so. So I have plenty of questions from your demonstration. I was just waiting for you to finish. Is it finished now? Can we put some text fields in the window that you created?
Um, I'm not sure if I understood you there.
Let me type that.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely we can. Um, by text fields, you mean text inputs or just some text that is displayed? Oh, an OK button. Yeah, okay, sure. So this is a random number generator, so actually, right before we do that, we want to make it say guess the random number. So to do that, now we'll talk about modifying windows. We use the MW command and TWM. Hold up. Yeah, we the first token is the ID of the window, as always. And now, now, um, we can change any property of the window. We can. So we're gonna start with line 2 to be equal to, let's say, guess the random number. And if we want to put an exclamation mark, um, that's a bit tricky since all the parameters go through a for loop, but we can avoid all the hassle by just expanding \x, which is the exclamation mark. So this actually expands this variable in DWM because we've escaped it. So this will put an exclamation mark in place. And next thing we want is a text input. So we're gonna do O3 equals, and now O, what is O? What is the O attribute? That's an overlay. It, long story short, it it's pretty much still just text, but it uses the window title bar colors instead. So we can just, okay, another thing, this actually starts one character to the left, offsetted, because it's pretty hard to explain, but well, we'll get it in a second. So I'm actually gonna pull up ANSI escape sequences here, and we want to move 2 characters to the right. Or actually 3 characters. Yeah, 3. So we're gonna use escape 3C for moving 3 characters. and it's going to be a text field. So we need to define its width. So here we have the set/a, and let's just make another variable called content width, which is going to be the Windows width minus 6, so that we have nice padding. Now that we have this defined, we're going to do escape content width x, which now this is going to erase this amount of characters starting from the cursor position. It's just going to insert spaces, said simply, and it doesn't actually move the cursor, so that's pretty nice. And now if we recompile this by deleting the compiled file and launching it, now if we launch this, it is going to say, yeah, guess the random number. And then we have this small text field here, which it doesn't do anything yet. And actually, I want to put this text field at the bottom. Yeah, let's put it at the bottom.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Oh, I wanted to ask, is the bottom left menu permanent, or did you have to make it also?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I heard you correctly. Can you repeat that?
I'm asking, in the terminal user interface, the bottom left menu,
Oh yeah.
the one, can you open the terminal?
The terminal. Like CMD.
The terminal interface, can you? No, not really. No, I mean running the
Okay, yeah.
program.
Okay.
Yeah, now I'm in the bottom left menu, the one that you're clicking right now.
Yeah.
Is it permanent, or is it did you have to make it also, or?
Yeah. I also made this. This is a part of the desktop system B desktop.pxf right here. It's
Oh,
the default Shivtanium program. It also contains the start menu. It looks so complicated and for some reason also laggy. That's probably... I'm still streaming to 2 different platforms. Let's check my processor usage. Oh god. I wish I did not see this. Oh well.
oh. On which other platform are you streaming to? Twitch or
What?
what other platforms are you streaming to?
I'm streaming to YouTube on live stream. So
Oh,
if you want to check out what we've been talking about before, you can actually go back in time on YouTube, and it's also going to be a VOD.
oh, perfect. I'll check it out.
Yeah. So yeah, the shell is handled by System B Desktop. Oh, I actually have Shivtanium open. No wonder this is lagging. So we want to put this text field at the bottom. Let's say like here. So to do that, we need to give it a position. Yeah, I'm gonna close this. Yeah, we need to give it a position. So what we call the variable. Yeah, input field y to equal PID RNG height minus 2, and then we're gonna replace this number with input field y. So that should do it. And yeah, hello Sambubo. Okay, now we have this input field at the bottom, but we want to actually make it, we actually want to input something into it. Now to do this, we're gonna react to another type of event, which we're actually gonna do on event raw, because basically what that on event handles for us is something like if kernel out is equal to whatever here is, so click equals 1, but we don't want to put an event for every type of key that we can press, so we're just gonna do on event raw kernel out, and we're gonna take the first 14 characters and check if that's keys pressed right now equals something. And now we're gonna do set kernel out so that we actually put these key presses into our memory. Just in case, let's do this. And now we're gonna actually do some input. So for %k in keys pressed right now, do. Oh, hold up. My mother's calling me. Alright, I'm back. So first we're gonna talk about what the keys pressed right now variable contains. It basically contains key codes separated by spaces. That's all it is. So that's why we're putting it in a for loop, because if the user is typing quickly, we want to register everything that the user is typing. So next thing, we're gonna open up this thing I have. If I do, actually, Alt Shift E, I have this little developer utility, which here it tells me the keys that I am currently pressing. So we want to grab number keys, which can be about at the top of our keyboard, so 48 to 57, or on the numpad, so 96 to 105. So to start, let's do if the key code is greater or equal to 48. Is it 48? Yep. And less or equal to 57. Then we're gonna do set/a, and this is gonna be the number that we just pressed. So num pressed, let's call it num pressed equals %k minus 48. And okay, yeah, we also need a variable for our input field. So let's call it set. So let's call it input. And by default it is a space. We always need it defined because of string replacing acting weird when the variable isn't defined. Anyways, so yeah, we're also going to do set num pressed equals so that it isn't defined prior, and we're going to bring this up again. So the numpad keys are 96 to 105. 96, 105. And we're gonna do 96. So this sets the numPressed variable to the current number character that we're pressing. No matter if it's on our numpad or if it's one of the number keys that we're pressing. So if numPressed is defined, if we've actually pressed something, then we're gonna do the then we want to append this to our input. So set input to input and numPressed. Simple as that. And we're also gonna display this change. So we're gonna modify the window RNG, and it's gonna be, yeah, here is our definition of our input field. So we're gonna paste this in here and we're gonna add input. So yeah, this should display the number that we've pressed. Now let's recompile this. If there's gonna be a VOD of this, I'm probably gonna have to edit it because I doubt if anyone's gonna watch like over an hour of almost silence. At least like I'm gonna have to add some music. So here's what we've made. And now we should be able to press a number, yes. And as we can see, it displays in our text field. Now, you might already guess the problem that's going to arise right now, which is if we overfill this text input field, it doesn't stop. And eventually it even overfills. And that creates some trippy effects. And we just don't want this. We want to fix this, which can be done quite easily with the power of string replacing. So we're gonna make it only display the last content with characters. So this should fix it. And also we're gonna make it react to pressing backspace. And also this window modification, I'm actually gonna put it here at the last place to make things easier and also a bit less laggy. So if we're mashing keys, it's not gonna be delayed. Hold up for a second, everyone. Okay, I'm back. My mother came in. All good. So, yeah. I'm gonna yap less. Just know that this is a lot better. So, we want this thing to react to when we press backspace, which should remove the last character, or escape, which should clear everything. So, we're gonna open up our handy little thing here again. So, escape is the key code of 27 and backspace is 8. So, if K is 27, set input to a space, which is what we started with. Else, if K is 8, then set input to be input where the last one character is removed. Now, an important thing that we have to do is if we've pressed backspace enough, so if we've erased everything, we still need to put a space here. So if not defined input, set input to space. Otherwise, if we press backspace again, it's going to try to erase non-existent characters, and that's gonna turn into a mess very quickly. So this prevents that from happening. Alright. So now we should have backspace and escape working. So let's start Shivtanium. And let's open this up. Okay, now we can input our numbers. We can press backspace. Oh, we cannot. Unfortunate. Can we press escape? No, we cannot. Wow, that's very unfortunate. How come? No, like actually, I don't know. Things don't work first try, am I right? Well, let's see what this thing spout out. No, this actually seems right. What's going on? Oh, right. I see what's going on. So, the reason why this is happening is because we actually chained up these if statements, which coincidentally works on the first thing, but after that it doesn't. So we're actually just gonna remove this else statement here. So yeah, that just kind of happens. Now I'm gonna check if anyone's asking something. Doesn't seem like it. Cool. So let's recompile again. Alright, so now we can input our numbers and we can press backspace, which works amazingly, and we can press escape, which deletes it all. We can press backspace even when there's nothing and it doesn't break. So I'd say we have a working text field. Or do we? So no, we still have an issue. If we open another window, and we try to input something into this window, as we can see, this input leaks over. How do we prevent this? well, since the system is giving us variables with handle std events and pull events, what we can actually do is we can check if the focused window is our window, so pid.rng. And even better, we actually don't have to put this in an if statement. We already have an if statement here, so we can just combine these if statements. It's a neat technique. It does a lot of it's a pretty good optimization. So here we're checking two values at once. And now it should work. We're not gonna test it again. We're gonna add some more changes so that we don't waste time. You're back again. Hello. Now, yeah. What should happen when we press enter? It should tell us less. It should tell us that the number is lower or that the number is higher. So we actually haven't made a system that creates the random value yet. To do that, we'll just set the goal number to random. Now, random in batch, if I do set slash question mark, we can say that in batch, random expands to a random decimal number between 0 and 32,767, which I'd say is random enough. We could definitely make it harder by making this number bigger by adding multiple randoms together, but we're not gonna make this too hard. So goal number is just random. Now, if we press enter, which is 13, the key code 13, then we should check. So, okay, now if input, and actually we're gonna add a space here just because the input always has a space at the beginning and I don't want to do some filthy string manipulation here yet. So that here we can just do if input is goal number, then it's gonna say we won. We're gonna implement this in a bit, but then else, actually no, now that I think about it, this is stupid because we're gonna have to compare against this goal number. So if input, but cut off the first character, which is always a space, is the goal number, then we won. Else, if the input is greater than the goal number, then it should say go lower. But actually I want to make this pretty, so we're gonna do if the goal number is lower than what we inputted, then say go lower. Else, if goal number is greater or equal, actually we don't have to put this here, we can just do else, because then the goal number has to be greater than the input. So that is our system. Now what we're gonna do first, so for now we're gonna set the goal number to 10 so that we can test stuff without having to guess the number every time we restart. So if our input is the goal number, then we should say that the player won. So we're gonna display the progress on, let's say, line 4. Let's do line 4. So we're just gonna do echo modified window PID that RNG line 4 equals you got the number exclamation mark. And yeah, if we press enter, our input field shouldn't change. Just to make this more intuitive, it shouldn't erase the number. So yeah, that tells us that we got the number. If the number is slower, then it should say go lower. And same here, go higher. So now let's recompile this once again. Oh, actually my bad, I forgot to resize the window. So the thing is, when I've already launched Shivtanium, if I resize the window with the scroll wheel, then I can do it, but if I click here, I'm gonna quickly find out that get input really does not like this. Yeah. So I'm gonna scale this back. So now it has the dot, and here's our number guesser. So if we input 5, go higher. So we go 20, go lower. And we do 10, you got the number. And I think that's pretty much it. We could make this thing a little nicer. Does anyone have any ideas? Yes. Unlike my mother who's coming in my room, give me a sec. Back again. So we're back. Now let's actually make this random. We see that it works. So we're gonna set our goal number to random. And let's recompile. And I would say that this is good enough. We've made this in 64 lines or 2,239 characters. So let's just launch this. Do my that. So here's our number, random number guesser. Guess the random number. If let's say 800, go higher. Okay, 8,000, still higher. Now, I think we have one thing that we could change, which is we need some feedback. When I press enter, nothing happens. If I add a number and press enter, yeah, now it says go lower, but that's about it. So we need some feedback. And what could we do? Okay, yeah, there's a question here. So is this even correct? At 60 FPS, it will keep on redrawing that window in the CMD screen 60 times a second, even if nothing changes. No, actually no. DWM just doesn't do that. If it doesn't get any requests and no animations are running, then nothing's gonna happen. I have to leave to go. I have to leave to do schoolwork. Yeah, no worries. There'll be the VOD. Goodbye, Dr. Nugget. Okay, so yeah, DWM doesn't redraw at 60 FPS. It just doesn't. Do we have a complete documentation about the poll events and handle STD events? No, no, it's not complete. This is currently the only documentation about it. It's this live stream / event. When we create the standard window from DWM, shouldn't it be default that the default behavior of minimize, close, and maximize should be there? Well, here's the thing. We can't really do default stuff in processes because a process has to do everything by itself. So if I put, like, when we close the window, if I put that into handle STD events, I just cannot, because that function just doesn't know what windows this process has created. All it knows is to respond to when the system shuts down or when the user logs off. And even if it did, it would have to create another event, but if the process already reacted to that event, then it's impossible because of if statements working that way. Also, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. This is probably gonna be one of the last bosses I make. So, we want some haptic feedback. So, my idea is, whenever we press enter, this input field inverts for a frame. So, that's actually very simple to do. We can just do, when we press enter, then we're just gonna echo this, except we're gonna put escape 7M to invert and escape 27M to revert back. And here we already redraw the input fields, so this should just flicker for a single frame. So let's rerun this. Okay, now if I do something like 10 and press enter, okay, what? Nothing is happening? Oh, it is. Okay, so now we have a small problem. It flickers, but just way too fast. So I guess we're gonna have to add a small delay, but I don't want to use delta time here because it would just get very complicated. And it's better if we just add a delay here because we're not gonna miss any inputs, because that's how Shivtanium works. And my cat is annoying. I'll be right back. Or actually no, she's fine now. So, does anyone have a quick way to make a small delay? Like, Tara, do you have an idea? I actually don't. I don't do this stuff often. Timeout now. We can. Timeout. We can only. The smallest timeout we can make with timeout is 1 second. Oh, ping. Yeah, that's actually a good idea. How can we use ping? Oh yeah, we can do. We can actually do. Ping dash n to 127.0.0.1, and I'm sure there's a way to modify the delay between a ping. So let's see. Timeout the milliseconds to wait for each reply. Okay, let's try that. Slash W in milliseconds, so let's do 100. No, that does the same thing, so it's not dash W. Let's see if anyone's hit and trial. Time to live? No, wait, I actually don't know. So, request to send. I'm sure there's a way to do that. Does anyone know how to set the delay in ping? Because by default it's 1 second per packet. Dash W. Okay, so it's just in one dash W 500 localhost. No, that's instant. And if we do N2, then that's 1 second. That's so weird. Okay, let's try that. Yeah, this didn't do anything. Let's just instant again. PC chat. Path ping. With the PRG being in milliseconds. Okay, yeah, thank you, Tara. So, actually path ping. Great. I'll actually use that. Except system root isn't defined in Shivtanium, I'm pretty sure. Or is it? I don't know. I'll just use path ping. Like this. Gotta shifterify this real quick. And now we're gonna recompile. not settings. Alright. Oh yeah, I think this is good enough. $1,000, $10,000 more? 20,000. Still more. 30k, still more. Okay. So we can see that this game actually works now. So we can do some strategies here. Okay, it's between 31,250 and 31,300, so let's do this. Lower. Okay, 75. I got the number. There it is. That was fun. Okay. Now, I'm gonna set this delay to like 200 because it just isn't noticeable enough. And I'm also gonna do from null so that it doesn't steal any events just in case. Oh god, this is pretty laggy when Shivtanium is running. Alright. So alright. Wait, why do I feel like this doesn't work? Yeah, I don't know, that's just me. As approximately 3 centi-second overhead. Doesn't matter here. Alright. Okay. So that's it. I think we made a pretty good random number guesser. It does everything it's supposed to. It generates a random number. It makes us guess it. Oh man, why is it giving me such high numbers? I got the number. Okay, I'm not gonna play this here for too long. But another thing I want to do right now is make the window a little bit smaller because we really only need like 8 or 9. Yeah, let's do 9. So this will just make the window a little smaller, and this right here is a pretty good Shivtanium application. I might even include it by default. So yeah, now I'm actually going to check more things that I wanted to talk about, but I mean, I just walked everyone through making Shivtanium programs. So yeah, I've already talked about the window manager. I didn't talk much about the APIs, but I think that's pretty boring at this point. What's the time? Oh, it's 3 p.m. This event has been going on for how long? 1 3/4 of an hour. Oh yeah, creating resource packs. That sounds like fun. So we're gonna make a resource pack here, which, I mean, it's pretty much as fun as it gets. It's about designing themes, but honestly, I think I'm gonna split this event into 2 parts because this is just getting so long. Resource pack making is pretty fun because we can make our own keyboard layouts, our own sprites. Use percent to limit to 100 or so. It would be more fun if you have 10 tries and you get the number in 10 attempts at max. Okay, that sounds like fun. So just have a limit on how many tries we can get. We could do that. So set remaining attempts to, let's do 15, and every time we press enter, set remaining attempts to minus equals 1. Yeah, remove 1. And alright, so let's modify this window, but also say let's put this on line 5. Actually, I'm gonna define this stuff all the way up here, and we're gonna make it say on line 5 remaining attempts. Yeah, sounds about right. And actually, yeah, if it's so, yeah, if remaining attempts is greater than 0, then only then do this. So if we don't have any remaining attempts left, then we can actually do else echo KBRG.5. You don't any attempts. Alright, I think I did this correctly. And actually, let's set the window height to 10 and recompile. So yes, now here we have 15 remaining attempts. So I'll try to beat this. Let's do 20,000. Oh, okay, that's cooked. I think I typed this variable wrong. Or did I? Did I even define this correctly? No. Remaining attempts 15. Something went wrong here. Actually, let's look at this source code. Something went wrong here. No idea. Let's see. Maybe I just typed the variable wrong. Oh yeah, now it works. I just typed it wrong. Go lower. 10,000. Even lower. 5,000. Even lower. 1,000. Damn. 100. 500. 700. 600. 550. 570. 580. Oh, I might have this. 575. 4. Okay. I got the number. With 2 remaining attempts. I think this is good enough. This is pretty balanced. It was pretty close. And I've got some good strategies there, so yeah. Let's go. Now let's just test if it doesn't let us continue if we wasted all our attempts. You don't have any remaining attempts. Yeah, and let's also... Actually, we could make this window bigger. Or we could modify it to say this through 2 lines. Yeah, actually, let's do that. So, line 4, you don't have any. And line 5, remaining attempts. I think this is good enough. Thanks for the idea, KBC. So, yeah. Now let's see what more I want to talk about. Or we could split this event into 2 parts. Creating resource packs, how it goes behind the scenes, history, future plans. I mean, is anyone... Oh, how does import work behind the scenes? So, importing. So basically, whenever bxf is ran, any file that you have in the same directory, which in this case is always ran in core, any bxf file that you have here can be imported. Or actually there can be a full path there, but that's kind of weird. Or it can actually use stuff like SST, dir, sound engine, something. So yeah, but by default you can import any file that's in the core directory. When you import a file that's in this directory, then first it puts all code that's in the bxf file into the main file. So this is at the start of every compiled Shivtanium program because it's just here. Now functions technically also get defined there. They're not, of course, visible in the batch file that's compiled. No bxf function's definition is visible in the batch file. So yeah, the functions, all functions that are here get defined with a prefix of the file name. and a dot, so sys dot. So here we have a function call. We can do sys.call, or we can also do call because we're currently in the sysbxf file. And one of the cool things that we can actually do in our, yes, this is the, in our main file, is we can actually import DWM as, for example, as window manager. And then we can do, instead of DWM get theme, then we can do window manager.get theme, because we imported this as window manager. So that's the thing we can do. And yeah, that's pretty much how import works. Of course, we can also import multiple things at once. So yeah, what are the rules you follow for importing? Can I just import a specific function from the .bxf file? Just one function so it won't overload my main file? No, but you don't need to do this anyway. Because the thing is, when you import a BXF file, BXF, all it does is it just puts whatever is in plain code space, it puts that into the main file, and all functions that are in the BXF file, for example here, BXF just knows that they exist, so they just get put into, I mean, their positions in the batch file get put into memory. Yes, so when we import a BXF library, it doesn't actually load any of the functions into the memory. It only when these functions are accessed, then they get specifically read off this file again. So you can't import a specific function from a BXF file, but you don't need to. You don't need to specifically import one function. If you need a specific function from a BXF file, just import the BXF file and use the function. And syscall is where the sys file name from which, yes. Consider increasing your font size. Yeah, sure. I don't like making it big because then the font is blurred, but I guess nice font should be able to be read. I mean, nice font should be readable. Yapping here. Show the animation of moving window in Shivtanium and how someone can use it like a plugin. Okay. Yeah, now, one unfortunate thing about Shivtanium is this quote. Shivtanium code may be used outside of Shivtanium, but it shouldn't be, because it's just very different. Now, yes, you can actually use DWM outside of Shivtanium, but you have to compile it, so you have to also include BXF to compile DWM, or you can just compile DWM manually and put the compiled file into your project, which isn't bad. And you also need to manually set up the live pipe, and even after all of that, if you manage to get DWM responding and getting it to load themes, then it's still just a window display server, as Grub called it, which is true. It's really a display server. It doesn't handle moving windows, it displays when windows are moved. And the window moving in Shivtanium is handled by the kernel, as I call it, and it's just code in the kernel. It may be usable outside, but you'd have to dig around in it a lot. Talk about your notes and how you manage such a big project. Are you using Git for controlling the different versions? Okay, first is notes. So, I say that I make notes, but when I make notes, I mean, whenever I start working on a feature, even if it just comes to my head, I write it down somewhere. I write it down, and then I immediately forget where I wrote it down. And then I discover it like a month later, and then get back to making the feature. Or I'm actually smart and or sometimes I put it in the changelog as a finished feature, so it sits in the back of my mind until I finish it. It doesn't leave my mind. I'll cry myself to sleep if I make it a if I just say it's a finished feature when it's not. So like the taskbar now displays open windows. I made this note before the taskbar was even somewhat functional, which made me finish it. But then I also have future plans, like milestone 4 plans, which this is the current progress. The taskbar is almost finished. I'm not gonna mark it as finished yet because it doesn't react to clicks yet. Once it does that, I'll mark it as finished. And yes, now, getters. So this. Are you using Git for controlling different versions? No. Whenever I make updates to Shivtanium, so when I make a new version, I have this settings.dat file, and that just contains information about the version. So it's like when I make small changes, or not too small, just weekly updates, the version increases by 1, the last place. And when I make big changes, like finish off a milestone, then this number definitely goes higher. Now, this update I'm gonna be releasing today is not gonna be a milestone, but I've been working on it for a month, so I might as well call it 1.4.0, beta 1.4.0, because it just has a lot of changes. But how do I upload my stuff to GitHub? If that's what you're asking, then it's just ugly. Now, I'm kind of scared to open up Google on my VM right now, because if I look at my system monitor, this is my memory usage. I have like 2.5 gigs left. Well, actually, no, the VM has a limit, so I should just be able to open up the unholy Google here. And oh, right. Yeah, I actually disconnected it. Now I remember. I'm gonna reconnect this network. I think I set it to NAT, right? Yeah, whatever. No? Okay, maybe not. Oh, never mind. I did. So, yeah, I just upload my files through GitHub. I just make commits. Like, it's straight up like I go to file, I press Ctrl A, Ctrl C, edit the file, and I do Ctrl A, Ctrl V. Actually, this is not a good idea because I have to change this back to arrow. Otherwise, people who clone this thing off the GitHub will have my settings and the fade in animation will be broken because of the out-of-box experience. Anyways, this should work. Did I change any of the configs on my end? No? Oh. This should be lo-fi. Alright. I'm just going to actually upload some of the changes I made. But actually no, later. I'll do that later. This is some boring stuff to show on stream. What inspired you to start programming and how did you get into it? Okay, I'm gonna have to give massive credits to one YouTuber. So how I got into programming is, it was like 2020 or 2021, and I saw a video about just some cool tricks to do in Windows with Notepad, and it showed off some VBS scripts and some very small batch scripts, and it got me interested about how did someone writing into Notepad just turn into making a program. So then I just opened up the command line like the YouTuber did, and I messed around in it. Eventually I stumbled onto the help command, and then I just started learning commands and making batch files, and before you know it, I made a batch OS. That's how it goes. I could talk actually more about the history. Some people watching the stream on my channel already know about sysshift tools. It was my older batch OS, and okay. Whoa. My RTC just got disconnected. So basically, you're in love with batch almost for 4 years now. Yeah, pretty much. That's how it is. Hopefully my stream just didn't end because my internet lagged. Ooh, drop frames over 3000. Don't like that. Oh, I've been streaming for 2 hours and 20 minutes now. Which programming languages do you prefer and why? How can I say this? I love batch. Okay, you're asking this a batch person who opened up the command line and typed help one day. But I also like Python and Lua. Lua because of ComputerCraft, a Minecraft mod that brings programmable computers into Minecraft, and these computers are programmed in Lua. Lua is just widely used. I heard that it's also used to make Roblox games, and most engines use Lua. So I actually learned Lua, and Lua is just also kind of different. I'm not gonna call Lua weird, because then I remember that Batch doesn't even have a normal way to make an infinite loop. So I'm never gonna call a language weird. All languages are weird in a different way. With that said, I prefer Batch over PowerShell. I prefer Python over Lua. It just makes a bit more sense. And that's about it. How do you know about Batchman? How did you came to know about Batchman? this is a very cool topic. I actually used to watch the Bat Team. But back in the days when you were called the Bat Team, I watched all of your videos, guys. All of them. I watched all the plugins you made. I've used all of them. I've ran into obstacles. I I eventually started making my own utilities. I discovered how Bash is an amazing language, how how it makes you think that it has limits until you surpass them, and then you run into bigger limits. That's just how Bash goes. Your views on this platform and what one thing you like about the server, and one thing you want to improve and change. Feel free to be honest. I'm gonna think about this. I think this platform is very beginner friendly, this server, but I mean, what I'd like to change is there should be a way for people to learn more easily about Batch, because um um growing up is realizing that you don't have infinite time, and I've already taught many people Batch. I've taught many people stuff like delayed expansion and using for in genius ways. But after a certain amount of people I teach, it becomes quite repetitive. So what I'd like to change is, honestly, I don't know how to say it, but just have a way for everyone to quickly learn, and just I'd like everyone to just become. I'm gonna edit out so much of this VOD just because I stutter. I'd like more genius people around here. That's pretty much what I want. That's what I'd like to change. Because there's just not enough people. Can you describe the most challenging project you've worked on and how you overcame the obstacles? Well, that has to be Shivtanium. It's like when I started making Shivtanium in March, I knew very little about Batch. I um actually before Shivtanium I made assist shift tools for tech demo, which actually had a window manager. It had a taskbar which was fully working. It had a desktop environment which was small but working. But I've just ran into so many obstacles, like for example, having multiple processes was just impossible without multi-threading, because SysShip 4 was going to be a single-threaded operating system, so just everything runs in a single batch file. So that's why having sub processes was just impossible, which ultimately led me into abandoning SysShift tools, because I just learned so much in so little time, and I looked back and I just wanted to do everything all over again instead of working to support legacy code. So when I was making Shivtanium, it was actually first supposed to be an interpreter, which means that it was supposed to be a single threaded interpreter which would have processes, but the processes weren't batch. They were programmed in a custom programming language that was made, and that was Shivtanium. But then I quickly realized that making an interpreter inside of a slow interpreter is just not a very good idea, because when I made a calculator in it. It took 5 seconds just for it to load. So then I um, then I had to come up with a separate way to make processes. So first, even when I was working on the interpreter, I actually came up with services, then I came up with external processes, and then I realized, wait, I could just make these services just processes. So I just made a kernel that handled all processes. I made a thing that handled moving windows instead of the interpreter, and before I knew it, I got a multi-threaded operating system. So called. I keep calling this an operating system, but we all know it's not. It's just a thing that we call batch OSs with a nice shell. What are your favorite tools or frameworks, and how do they improve your productivity? So, um, I like how people do a lot of things with pure batch, but pure batch is limiting. I don't really support using plugins or extensions that are called every single frame unless they're for sound or something, or I guess unless there's no other way to use it. But then I also don't like things like inserting images into CMD, because if you're using CMD and the whole batch file is just using a single plugin to display images. Oh, hold up. Oh, I'm back. Okay, so if if you're using a single plugin every single frame to, for example, render images into CMD, like not ASCII images, then batch just isn't the right programming language for it. It's not meant for that. Like, at that point, use something like Visual Basic. But with that said, things like getting mouse input and keyboard input are pretty essential. So that's why I use getInput64.dll, which allows me to get input through variables, and getInput runs in its own thread. So I don't have to call anything to get input. I just access a variable, which Shivtanium heavily relies on, but not completely. There's also ways to get input without getInput64.dll. There's Radish, which does it through a different variable it actually doesn't modify CMD at all. It just uses some weird techniques to modify a certain variable, but I just like the simplicity of getInput 64.dll. And yeah. How do you approach learning new programming languages or technologies? I haven't been learning any programming languages for a while. I just haven't had the time to. Or technologies? Same thing here, but actually, yeah, I did learn. Actually, I did learn a programming language recently. If you count it, it's Minecraft data packs, Minecraft functions, or command blocks. And it's all really interesting stuff. When you were a beginner, how did you approach it? Well, when I was beginning with Batch, that was 4 years ago. I was a little child. I played with it. I showed off my projects to my friends. How did I break down the process of learning? I mean, not really. I just, well, I just went through the help screens of every command, and every day I learned a new command. I experimented with it, rewrote 50% of my code because I realized that this command makes everything so much better. So yeah, I just got better over time. Then one day I was browsing on Reddit when I saw some cool projects on a subreddit r/batch. Then I discovered that they had a Discord server. So I joined it. I met some cool guys like Yeshi, Terra, and Icarus, and all of a sudden I became a genius. I showed off my projects. Looking back at them, they were super messy. They were just didn't use many cool techniques, but I used everything I knew to its full potential. I even had user switching in sysshift tools. That was a hard thing to do because it actually did use a bit of multi-threading, just in a more simple way. What's the most fascinating problem you've solved through code? I'm gonna have to really think about this. It's the most fascinating problem. Actually, yeah, I have something. Or maybe not. No. No. Actually, no. Still thinking. Something practical? Oh, yeah. I actually did. So, back in the days, I used to host a lot of Minecraft servers. So, what I did is I made a little script that. So, I had a server with plugins, and I was tired of every day just checking for updates of plugins. So, I just made a simple script which just pulled information from CurseForge or Modrinth. So it automatically updated all my plugins and my servers, used the latest version, and yeah, that's what I did. That's one of the first problems that I solved with programming. Other than that, I can't really call Batch extremely useful when it comes to real life problems. X17 would love me. Okay, let's get married then. I mean, what? Lol. On God. How do you handle debugging? And what's your process for resolving tough issues? Um, so when it comes to batch, it first when you have a problem, it looks straightforward. You try to fix the problem by changing a bit of your source code, and then you solve the problem, but in the process you discover free glitches in CMD. You discover you probably discover about free you discover about free PDF files of military information. Oh wait, wrong script. Um yeah, I just try something that doesn't make sense for 30 minutes straight until it does. But about debugging, I just I don't know how to say it. Batch doesn't have any kind of debuggers. Actually, Yeah, Shivtanium has some cool features when it comes to debugging. Uh, when we look into the temp directory, so at any time I want, I can press a keystroke in Shivtanium, which dumps the memory of the kernel, the window manager, and every process. It just dumps it into a bunch of files, and then I can analyze what's going on, why something doesn't work, and yeah. So that's what I use. Actually, I have some kernel errors here. That's interesting. Oh, that seems like a problem in the control panel. I'll look into that. It's called an error here. And I can also look at send commands. This is the deep WM log. It's pretty interesting to look at. Have you tried the batch debugger I made? Yeah, I did, but I mean, actually I used it back in the day for some time, but it quickly began breaking my code because the way it works is it basically breaks whenever it actually just breaks when it comes to if statements or macros. Defining macros, it just cannot do that. And it also just kind of doesn't work for loops that are created with for. So, yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay, listen, it's just not possible to create a batch debugger that runs batch code in itself. If you really wanted to make a batch debugger, you'd have to emulate batch inside of batch. It's just not possible. You're gonna run into issues, even if you solve all that you know. It it works with simple scripts, but I tried running Shivtanium through it. It immediately died. How do you manage your time and prioritize tasks during development? Oh, give me a second. Okay, I'm gonna have to go soon, but how do I manage my time and prioritize tasks during development? So no. No, I hop onto my computer, I I open up Shivtanium, I have a cool idea in mind, I start making it, I blink, then I look at my phone, and oh shit, it's midnight. So I just don't. That's the thing that I'm terrible at. Workaholic. Yep, that's exactly what I am. You know, I can't tell you how many times I almost failed an exam in school because I didn't study. I just because I just got carried away by programming. Uh-huh. Exactly. All right. So, Yeah. Oh, this stream is long. So I think I'm gonna end the event here. Any big project with collaborations? Yes, there's one, and I can't talk about it. I just cannot. NDA? Not sure what that means. Non-disclosure agreements. Yeah, I'm working on a project with a few people. And that's all I can say about it. Yeah. Oh man, this has been long. So, thank you so much, everyone, for coming to this stream or this stage. Thanks everyone who is watching this VOD and watched it all the way. Somehow this is 3 hours. If somebody got here, they either skipped through to see what I'd say at the end, or are just insane with their time, or watched this at 1.5 times speed. What's a common programming practice or belief that you disagree with, and why? Programming practice? I mean, it depends on the programming languages. It depends on the programming language. Batch. What's the thing that I disagree with in Batch? There's not many things, but there's a few. It's using plugins that pause execution and don't allow you to do anything else. So, for example, like get input at exe. Well, yeah. This has, but it has been actually limiting me in syshift tools. Badbox and Badbox at exe. Oh wait, is I think that can be also used for getting keyboard and mouse input, right? But yeah, I mean, yeah, I see how Badbox used to be useful back in the days, but today we have VT100, which is much more powerful and it's instant. So I pretty much, and for backwards compatibility, oh my god, my cat is annoying. Please stop yelling. I will eat you. Come here. I'll eat you. Oh, come here. Oh my god, she's heavy. Anyways, yeah. Yeah. So nowadays we even have ANSI so we can use VT100 on Windows 7 and even lower. Yeah. But Badbox is just a thing in the past. That's what I'm gonna say. Anyways, yeah. Um.
We're gonna have lunch. Get ready.
Yeah.
It's Sunday, right? Get ready. It's
I
Sunday.
have 10 more questions. Yeah, let's wrap up. This stream is so long. I have things to do. It was. And I'm gonna probably look back at it in a year. So, I didn't have many questions to answer. The, I wish there were more people in this stage or call, Like, the peak that we had was like 5 people at once. Which is a bit unfortunate, but I enjoyed it. Yep, I got lunch. And it's 4 p.m., would you know it? Timings are not correct. Exactly. We need to research the most people are from which country and plan accordingly. Yeah, I think we should have put this event. I think this event should have started later. Anyways, yeah, I can't hold back for any longer. I hope everyone enjoyed the stage and the stream and this VOD. I hope I showed off some cool things, and I hope some people will use the knowledge that I gave in this stream to make great Shivtanium apps. So, goodbye everyone. Thank you for watching. And have a great day. Goodbye. Okay, now I'm gonna end the stream. And my cat is calling. Would you know it? Goodbye everyone. Well, actually first I'm gonna have to discover. I don't want the stream to get deleted. That would be so bad. Let's try this. Yeah. Goodbye everyone. 3, 2, 1.